My dear Patterns of Possibility listeners, I want to let you know that I really do appreciate you listening to this podcast. Your listenership means a lot to me. And this podcast is my sincere gift to you. And maybe you'd like to take action on reciprocating this gift. If you would, I'll mention a few things that are pretty helpful to me in the creation of this podcast. One thing that you could do is rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure to give it 5 stars. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Also, another thing that you can do to support my efforts is to sign up at my email list at Patterns of Possibility. When you sign up, you'll receive actionable steps to making meaningful connections. We talk about everything from people pleasing to ghosting, socializing do's and don'ts, compliments, one-sided friendships, and everything in between. So if you'd like support on making more meaningful connections with your friends and family or businesses and coworkers, sign up. Another thing that you could do is follow me on social media. I'm looking at TikTok in particular because I'm there all of the time. I'm on the road to reach 10,000 followers so that I can live stream some of my workshops. It'd be really helpful, and it would help me bring these opportunities to you for free. The last thing that I can recommend that you do is if you like this podcast and you know of someone who might enjoy it, please share it with that person. Share it with a friend. It really does go a long way. With that said, once again, your listenership means a whole lot to me. Thank you so much for your support. Do you want meaningful relationships in 2024? Then become the best version of yourself at the Love Yourself First 3-day conference. This virtual event is happening February 9th, 10th, and 11th. We are going to show you powerful self-love techniques to set boundaries, leave toxic relationships, make new friends, and much, much more. This year, start making meaningful relationships that will last a lifetime. Love yourself first. Go to patternsofpossibility/events to get your tickets now. What's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about some 4-letter words, and I've been known to throw them around here and there and everywhere, but this is one that I don't recommend that you say. I don't have it in my vocabulary, and I want to help you remove it from your vocabulary right away. And I want to tell you right now, maybe you've heard this before and you don't realize it's such a bad word or such a disconnecting word or such a painful word. I might want to just cover your ears. I'm going to say it right now. Fine. I said it. Fine. When people use this word, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. It creates a huge, huge gap in between you and the other person. You disconnect and you start drifting away. If you're curious about how this shows up in your relationships, if you're one of those people who says fine, I want to tell you that it doesn't help your relationships, and I want to help you remove that from your vocabulary so that you can connect authentically. Are you ready? Let's go. So I'm hoping to get you to remove this 4-letter word from your vocabulary, the fine, get rid of that, because it really creates a rift or a chasm, or it puts a giant wall up between you and the person that you're talking to. You share that with people who you don't want to know anything about your life. You tell those people that you're fine. The problem is, because of course we want to have boundaries. I'm fine. Or I don't want to talk about it. But those people who are close to us, who care about us, who genuinely want to know us, when we say that we're fine, we put a huge wall up. We create a chasm in between both of us. We move miles and miles apart from each other because, listen, they want to know how you are feeling. And deep, deep down, you also want somebody to know and to understand. That's the key, to know and to understand. And if we say we're fine, we don't talk about the nuances of what's happening on our side, how we really feel about our experiences. So for me, and this is like one of the core things that I harp on to talk about all the time. Connection is sharing how you feel about experiences. It's how you feel about experiences. And if you're always fine, fine is feelings I'm not expressing. So you're hiding. Maybe you're afraid that what you share, people won't quite understand. Maybe you don't want them to question it. Maybe it's not that they're going to judge you or criticize what you've got going on in your life. They just don't understand, and you don't want to go through the process of sharing or explaining it to them because, man, they don't understand in the first place. It's exhausting enough. You probably have something on your plate or something in your mind that you need support with, and holding that space for yourself is exhausting enough. And then you have to share, or you may be tempted to share with someone who is well-meaning, but they don't get it. So you have to explain the entire process or what you're going through and why it's a pain for you. Like for me, it's well documented. I talk about it all the time that I'm a transgendered person. I'm a transgendered man, right? And so I talk about these experiences, and some people may not relate to them. Say this might not relate to them. I can talk about being black, and people may not relate to them. And if I'm going through an experience of having an experience or a strain or something that's on my mind because I'm transgendered, like I'm getting rejected from dating, or something else is happening, or from I'm thinking about how I'm struggling because of something that I think is related to being black, communicating that struggle to someone who may not understand my experience is exhausting. It's exhausting. You know it. If you've ever had an experience like you're trying to explain, you don't even have to make it about these deep things, but maybe you like a video game a whole lot and you want to explain how when you lost to the final boss that you were just so upset. You want to talk about your frustration with that, but the buddy that you're talking to, they're just like, they don't get it. You want to explain all the nuances and the ideas and like, oh man, all this stuff, all this, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff happened and it was just crazy. And I get to the final port and he just chops me up and it's over. And all the 65 hours that I spent playing this game, and it just ends just like that. And they're just like, uh-huh. And you don't want to go through that. You don't want to go through that. You want somebody who genuinely understands, going to ask questions, going to be curious about it. You don't want uh-huh. So what do? You say, I'm fine. How you doing? I'm dying inside. Oh, did I say that? I meant to say I'm fine. Because they can't help you. They wouldn't be able to help you. Now, the reason why I want to say that we really need to get rid of saying I'm fine is because there are some people out there who really do want to understand and do want to help us, but they're not capable of helping us. I'm thinking about you as a person who just continues to say that you're fine. Thinking about me as a person who continues to say that I'm fine. If you do that, you are never going to, one, see if they're capable of holding space for you. You're not going to be able to do that. If you assume that they're not going to be able to do that, they're not going to be able to do that. And two, if you don't open up and share with them, you're not going to be able to feel this frustration. This is important. You're not going to be able to feel this frustration of, oh, you don't have what I want. I need my needs to be met. My needs aren't getting met with you. I got to go find somebody else, instead of smiling in your face and telling me everything's okay and wishing that you were a person who could hear and understand me. If you don't have that experience where you try you're going to forget that you're stuck alone. You're going to be one of those people who are just like, it's better than having nothing. I don't talk to them about anything, but I'm glad they're in my presence. If you continue to say that you're fine and pretend that there's nothing there, there will be nothing there. There will be no connection. Because connection is sharing how you feel about your experiences. So stop saying that you're fine. Tap into those feelings and start sharing them. I'll be right back with the answer Reddit question. Are you tired of being around people who just don't get you? Have you been putting yourself out there but not able to find anybody that matches your vibe? You're not alone. Making friends, especially as an adult, is hard. My name's Coach Lee. I'm a social connections coach, and I want to help you find your tribe. I have a 3-step coaching program for groups and individuals that's designed to help you get to the right place, to meet the right people, to have the right kind of conversations that leave you feeling fulfilled, appreciated, and understood. After going through the Find Your Tribe coaching program, you'll discover who it is that you really want to be connected to, how to find those people, and what you need to talk about so that your relationship moves from an acquaintanceship to a close friendship. And with this program, you won't be on this journey alone. You'll have access to a private community in which there are others who are just as intentional about making the kind of connections you are. You'll also have access to live events like weekly Q&As, speed friending, and much more. You'll be able to practice your skills in a safe environment and feel confident to connect authentically when you get out into the real world. If you're ready to get started on making meaningful connections and lasting relationships, then apply to the coaching program by using the link in the show notes. All right, now it's time for the Reddit friendship advice question. If you have a friendship advice question that you think I should answer, tag me in it on Reddit. My handle is Brilliant and Resilient. That's Brilliant, the letter N, Resilient. What do you do when you feel sort of left out / the third wheel in a group? I have a few friends and we're all making art and so on. Recently, they discussed planning an event and selling their art together. I expressed my interest in it and showed them some of my art and ideas. Then one of my friends in the group asked me if I wanted to be a part of or start an art collective, and I was really happy and excited to be a part of something. But also, kind of at times, this feeling like I'm more of an afterthought. I'm feeling like more of an afterthought than actually part of the group. Such as them planning hangouts and discussing events without me. They also made a separate social media account to promote it, and it's only for the two of them to have access to. And when I mentioned it, they just put collective name they came up with plus me. Wow. They asked me today if I was interested in joining them tomorrow, and I got excited to be included this time. But they mentioned that they would be meeting at the event space first, before me, to discuss. So I asked if I could meet with them afterwards. But that honestly made me feel a bit sad, and maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but that just made me feel like they're only asking me to come so I can help them out with expenses rather than being included in the planning process. They've included me in their group chat and asked for my help with making signage, and have offered to buy stuff like materials for the event, so I'd be contributing, but I can take a hint, and I'm fine if they don't want it to, if they want it to be their own thing just between the two of them, but I don't want to feel like I'm the backup person or only included when they need me for something. Am I wrong for thinking or feeling this way? How would you navigate this situation? Thanks in advance. Well, y'all heard me. I couldn't help but to react because of the thing. Essentially, they came up with a group name, and then they didn't think about this third person. They just came with a group name, and they're like, group name plus you, plus third wheel. How awful is that? I'm laughing at it, but I mean, it's absurd. It's absurd. And this person, they're questioning whether or not these people really care about you. they really are interested in you, or they just inviting you along for something, for money, for resources, because you ask and they feel guilty. But certainly you don't feel like a person, it doesn't seem like you get the vibe from them that they really want you to be around. They really choose you. They're very excited to have you in this space. And I would say that you're right. All the evidence is just right there. It's just right there. As an outsider looking in, it's really hard when you're in the situation and you're like, well, I mean, they do invite me, or they kind of, or they sort of. I mean, the reason why I picked this, dear Redditor, is because you said, I'm fine. I don't believe you. I do not believe you. All the things that you had mentioned in this post are things that need to be shared with these two people who created that collective name and excluded you. You don't say to them that you're fine. You don't continue to move around like you're fine, because everything is not fine. Right now, you are posting on the internet, telling strangers about how you're not fine. Well, let's dig in there. There are feelings that you are not expressing. So I want to start with this pause, or this part right here where you say, the very first question, you have a couple questions. Am I wrong for thinking and feeling this way? Nope. All your feelings are valid. All your feelings are valid and worth expression. Now, how you express them and who you express them to are two different things. All of these things, I think, that you've expressed here to the strangers on the internet and me who just happened to see your wonderful writing, are things that are misdirectedly expressed. They need to be expressed to the two people. So you're not wrong for feeling this way. And if you were to share how you feel with them, it is really important to know. It's really important to know that how you feel is correct. Nobody can tell you how to feel. All you're doing is expressing that to another person. They can't possibly know. And in fact, if they are your real friends, as I said earlier, there are people who really genuinely care about you. They're going to make room to understand and appreciate the gift of your thoughts and your feelings towards them. Whether or not they're joyful feelings, whether or not they're sad feelings, whether or not they're angry feelings, whatever they are, they're going to receive it as a gift, because they're going to understand how to treat you better. They're going to understand how to treat you better. No, you're not wrong for feeling this way. You just can't be wrong. That goes for everybody. That goes for me. I just can't be wrong. I can't be wrong about how I feel about my experiences. That's what I mean to say. And so the question that comes after is, how would you navigate this situation? Well, if you listen to this podcast for some time, you probably know that I'm just like, go tell them people. Go tell them people. Go tell them exactly. And if you're having difficulty, if you're going to have difficulty telling these people, what you're going to do is you're going to take this post that you wrote and you're going to read it to them. Just like that. All the things that you need to say, because what's in this post is golden. There's specific examples in how you feel about those examples. What I would do before I share, though, with them is to reflect on this a bit, and really dig into how you're feeling about it, because it's not fine. I don't believe that you'd be fine if they did stuff without you, because they're doing all the things without you, and you kind of perk up and you come into the conversation. It doesn't appear that they invite you. It doesn't appear that they invite you to do that. And if I could just look back at this post, it says, that honestly made me feel sad. And then right after, but I'm thinking too much into it. You just covered that right up, that sadness feeling. Of course you would be sad. You thought these people were cool and they're fun and they're interested in you, and they keep doing things without you and excluding you, and you catch them and you say, hey, what about me? And they're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, well, I don't have to be here if I don't want you. And they're like, no. We just, we like you. We like you. It doesn't appear that way. So what are you going to do about this situation? What I'd recommend is that you look at this post and you go back and you talk to them about it. You talk to them about it. Take the paper and read it if it's necessary, because I'm telling you, when you get in these emotionally charged situations, it makes it really, really difficult to be able to say what's on your mind. It's easy to fall into this, oh, well, they didn't mean to hurt me, or they didn't mean to do this, or they didn't mean to do that. But if you stick to the paper and you talk about the things and how you feel, you are going to nail it right away. And there's a potential that your relationship will fall apart, but it's definitely going to change in a way that's more powerful and to your advantage. I guarantee you it's going to change to your advantage, because you don't want to be around people who don't want to be around you and pretend that everything is fine. Redditor, thank you so much for asking your question. I know that you didn't ask me to answer it, but I did, and I hope that it helps. Best of luck to you. Take care. My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and you have been listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. You can find me at patternsofpossibility.com and on all social media at Patterns of Possibility. And as always, I want to encourage you to be yourself, live your truth, and there you'll make lasting friendships.